He fell in love with you despite the age gap. Here's what it really means. There are some connections that don't ask for permission. They don't care about logic, distance, or even the ticking clock of age. They just happen, quietly, deeply, like two souls remembering a promise they made long before they were born. He never planned to fall for you. And you didn't imagine that someone younger or older would suddenly make your heart remember what it means to feel alive again. But here it was, that strange, unexplainable pull that neither of you could name, yet both could feel. Rose the beginning, when time stood still. It started like a quiet ripple, an unexpected conversation, a shared laugh, a glance that lingered a second too long. You both were from different phases of life. One of you had seen the world a bit more, learned patience, and carried the quiet wisdom that comes with years. The other carried the wild energy of curiosity, ambition, and fire, the kind that still believed in new beginnings. People around you would never understand it. They would say things like, "Why her? She's older." Or, "Why him? He's too young." You need someone mature. But love, real love, doesn't follow the calendar. It listens to something much deeper, the soul. When he looked at you, he didn't see numbers. He saw calmness. He saw someone who felt like home. And when you looked at him, you didn't see youth, you saw aliveness. You saw the mirror of what your heart had forgotten. That joy still existed. That's when it began, the story that wasn't written by logic, but by destiny. Crystal ball, the psychology behind the pull. You see, the human heart doesn't fall for appearance, it falls for energy. From a psychological point of view, we often attract what our soul needs to heal or remember. Sometimes, an older woman carries the energy of stability and emotional depth. A younger man, full of passion and risk, can awaken the spark she buried beneath responsibilities and fears. Likewise, a younger woman, full of softness and light, can bring tenderness into the heart of a man who's been hardened by years of survival. The age gap only magnifies what both secretly crave. Black circle, she seeks to feel desired again. Black circle, he seeks to feel understood beyond his years. Black circle, she brings wisdom. Black circle, he brings wonder. They complete each other in ways neither expected. That's why it feels so familiar. Because psychologically and spiritually, it is. Sparkles the spiritual connection. When God sends someone into your life despite an age difference, it's not a mistake. It's a divine assignment. You two might not even have been meant to end up together in the ordinary sense, but to awaken something in each other. For the woman, he may be a reminder that her story isn't over, that she can still be seen, desired, loved, not for what she's achieved, but for who she is. For the man, she becomes the teacher of grace, the one who shows him what love looks like when it's patient, soulful, and real. Sometimes he's drawn to her because his soul recognizes in her the energy of home, something he lost early in life. And sometimes she's drawn to him because his energy reminds her of what her heart once was, brave, curious, free. It's the dance of two souls meeting halfway, not by age, but by frequency. Dizzy when the world starts whispering. But let's be honest, when there's an age gap, the world always notices. There are whispers, judgments, assumptions. People think they understand. They never do. Because what they see is two people breaking the rules. What they don't see is the quiet depth of the connection, the late-night conversations, the respect, the shared dreams, the way one glance can calm an entire storm. He knew the world would talk. He knew people would say he's foolish, that it's just a phase. But every time he saw you smile, every time he heard your voice, something in him whispered, this isn't just attraction. This is truth. And you tried to reason with yourself. You told yourself he's too young, that it won't last. But the more you resisted, the stronger the pull became. Because your souls were not meeting for convenience. They were meeting for correction. You were meant to heal something in each other. Hibiscus, the emotional alchemy. Every relationship leaves an imprint. But when there's an age gap, the impact is almost transformational. He teaches you how to feel again. You teach him how to love right. He reminds you that vulnerability is not weakness. You remind him that love isn't about possession, it's about peace. You become his mirror. He becomes your muse. And together, you rewrite what love is supposed to look like. Psychologically, This kind of connection works because both partners are meeting each other's psychological opposites. He offers adventure, risk, spontaneity. You offer emotional safety, patience, wisdom. The polarity between those energies is what creates the deep magnetic bond that no logic can undo. Dove, the divine timing of love. Sometimes age gap relationships don't appear to make sense because they're not meant to fit into the timeline of society. They fit into the timeline of the soul. Maybe you both met too late. Maybe he appeared when you had already given up on love. Maybe she entered your life when you thought you had everything figured out. But divine timing doesn't care about human plans. It cares about awakening. If you met, it means there was something sacred for you both to learn. For him, the lesson of maturity through love. For you, the lesson of trust through vulnerability. And when two souls learn those lessons, they evolve. Even if the relationship changes form later, the bond remains, forever coded in both hearts. Fire when he fell for you anyway. Let's go back to him for a moment. He didn't fall in love with you because of how you looked. He fell in love with the way you made him feel. He fell for your calmness in chaos, your quiet confidence, the way your eyes carried stories that no one else understood. He felt safe with you, something rare for a man, because unlike others who expected him to prove himself, you saw who he was becoming. He could tell you anything. And when you listened, he felt heard not just by a woman, but by the universe itself. He didn't care that you were older. In fact, that was what he adored. You were grounded, graceful, magnetic, the kind of woman who carried elegance in silence. To him, you were not older, you were timeless. And you saw beyond his youth. You saw his potential, his sensitivity, his heart that wanted to love right but didn't know how. You didn't see a boy, you saw a soul. And that's why it worked. Because both of you were loving at the level of spirit, not surface. Sparkling heart, the hidden meaning. So what does it really mean when he falls in love with you, despite the age gap? It means you're not bound by time, your souls are meeting from beyond time. You both were destined to awaken each other. One of you represents the past, the wisdom of what has been. The other represents the future, the courage to begin again. And when you meet, it creates the present moment, the now where healing happens. Psychologically, it also means both of you are filling emotional gaps that neither realized existed. He's finding the nurturing energy he missed. You're finding the excitement you lost. It's not dependency, it's completion. And spiritually, it's proof that love is eternal. That God's timing is perfect. That what is meant for you will not look like what people expect. It will look like truth. Some behind small cloud, the two pass. Not all age gap relationships end in marriage. Some end in awakening. But both are sacred. Because even if one day life separates you, you'll never forget what that connection did to your soul. He'll never forget the woman who taught him what real love feels like. You'll never forget the man who reminded you that your light never faded. It was just waiting to be seen again. And somewhere, in another lifetime or dimension, your souls will smile at each other again, proud, healed, and free. Tulip, the message from the universe. So if you're reading this right now, and you're questioning why you met him despite the age difference, if you're wondering why you can't forget him, or why your souls still feel connected, this is your confirmation. It was divine. He didn't come to judge your age. He came to awaken your ageless spirit. He didn't come to make you doubt yourself. He came to remind you that love doesn't end when years pass, it deepens. And even if life moves on, that energy will always remain pure, untouched by time, protected by fate. Dizzy final words, what it really means. When a man falls in love with you, despite the age gap, it's not rebellion. It's recognition. It's his soul whispering, I know you. It's your spirit responding, I remember you. It means that somewhere in the fabric of destiny, your names were written side by side, not in the same year, but in the same frequency. And that's the truth that no clock, no calendar, no opinion can ever erase. Because real love doesn't ask, how old are you? It only asks, where have you been? Subscribe now to Psych Secrets and be part of a journey where every video inspires you to see life with a new perspective.